So this is my digital solutions notebook. So the way it works is you need to make a file and you need to initialize it with a DS note extension on it, and it will just create a normal notebook. And with the notebook, you can add Markdown, you can do HTML, and when you create code cells, you can select your different languages here. We can have P5.js, HTML, JavaScript, or SQL, and each of those you can execute things. So I'll just give a quick demo, and then I'll go into the main one. So we can create variables, and then we can access them later on. Okay, so let's have a look at something that demonstrates all the capabilities of this notebook. So first of all, we're going to start with SQL. Now, for SQL, it runs SQL.js under the hood, and we can create tables, and it tells us successfully we've created one table. Here's a second one that has foreign keys in it, and here we can create multiple tables at the same time. And we can prove that those tables exist if we run the dump command. And this tells us we have 4 tables with no data in them. So let's put some data in. So when we do an insert, it gives us the data back from the table that we have just inserted. Does it if we run multiple, and if we insert multiple values, we get both of those back, as opposed to separately here when we ran 2 separate statements. We can actually create tables using select statements, so that works as well. And foreign keys are enforced in this database, in this setup. So here I tried to break a constraint, and it failed. It gave me an error message. We can do selects, updates, and all of these give us results or changes in a table. We can do deletes, and it will tell us what row we've deleted and show us that. And then we can see all the data that currently exists in our database. Table joins also run. And additionally, we can actually save this database now to here. So I'm going to save it to temp.db. And it will run over here, and now it is stored here. And if I hit clear and dump, you'll see that the database is gone from memory. So it no longer exists. We can load that again by running the load command. And we can obtain all our data once again. So we can make things persistent. Additionally, we can have a relational database schema generated for us. This was modeled off the db-izzy extension. And it just lights up and shows us the connections to the different tables. And additionally, we can run the dictionary command and we'll generate a data dictionary showing us the constraints and things that we've placed on our tables when we did our creation. So this is generated, and this is also generated from the existing tables in the memory of the system. So that's what we can do with SQL. We can also do P5.js. Now we can run things with our setup and draw commands. And here we've just got one where we can just interact with the mouse. And we also did some console logging, and that showed up at the bottom here. We can also load images. Now, load images, the only load function that works in this instance. Sound does not work because that is a limitation of the Visual Studio Code environment. None of the other load commands work at all. They have not been programmed in. I have not needed them, but maybe I will in the future if I get a chance. You can also execute a sketch in code. Just run this and it will just generate this basic layout and run our output. Now we can also run without the draw or setup function if we want to do a static image, and it will just give us a canvas this size. And it will run, but it's not really that great. It does HTML, so you can style things, adjust headings, you can put images in, and you can run some script tags. And it's persistent. So when you when you play with the HTML as HTML, you're actually playing with the entire DOM. So we could actually use the body tag, and we would actually change the background of the whole document itself. For JavaScript to run similarly to HTML, it's persistent in the entire scope of the document. That means that whatever changes we make in one, we can make them persist. So we created a variable X and we can access that later on. So that's the Digital Solutions Notebook. And hopefully it is of use to you.